possible that you want more? I just want you for myself. You had to leave early.
Hey everyone, real quickly, I just wanted to explain that in this series, though it is a tutorial series, I am mainly just trying to give tips and talk about some of the ideas and practice routines that helped me learn these mechanics. The whole point of the series is not to be the best tutorial, but to simply give another point of view as to how I learned it in hopes that maybe I can help a few people overcome the roadblocks just as I did. With that out of the way, enjoy. To start out, let's just go over the steps to stall. The first step being just learning how to tornado spin. This step is probably the easiest one out of them all, because all you need is either arrow right or arrow left bound to any button, and then whichever one you're using, I'm using arrow left, so I would point my joystick to the right, the opposite direction. If you're using arrow right, you would point your joystick to the left. And by combining these, you'll do this motion right here, which is called a tornado spin. The next step, once you have that down, is just jumping. Once you tornado spin and press jump, you'll do a stall. The only thing important about this step is to make sure that your joystick is pointed either perfectly to the left or perfectly to the right. If it is off by a little bit, then you'll end up either forward flipping or back flipping, whatever it may be. You just want to make sure your joystick is perfectly to that direction to stall. And that brings us to the third step. Once you have that one down, the third step is just learning to cancel the stall so that your car doesn't have any rotation. This is what makes the stall actually useful, because you can control it a lot better. And this is done, at least my way. I use normal arrow, and so what I do is when I actually do the stall like this, I let go of my arrow left. Sorry, here's the button I'm pressing. I let go of arrow left, and then I'll hold normal arrow while still pointing my joystick to the right. And by doing this, that little movement at the end there that you see, that's the normal arrow just correcting my car to stay upright and not have that rotation at the end. Once you have this down, then you officially have all the 3 steps to stalling. Before I talk about how to practice the stall, I now want to just go over the most common mistake that people make while learning to stall, and that is the misconception? Is that the word I'm looking for? I don't know. But in every other stall tutorial that I have ever seen, they explain it as pushing all the buttons at the same time. Like just quickly pushing buttons at the same time, and then magically you'll stall, and you just have to get used to when to push the buttons, blah 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 blah. I don't like that way of explaining a stall, because what that did when I was learning how to stall was giving me this idea that, oh, just mash the buttons and then it'll suddenly work out. And that was really holding me back from actually thinking about what I was doing wrong and why the stall wasn't working. What helped me to learn the stall and get really consistent at it was, instead of thinking of stalling as just pressing all your buttons at the same time, I think about it as a process. So the first step in the process for me is to turn left. The next step would just be hold arrow. The third step would be to press jump. And then the fourth step is to let go of arrow left and just hold normal arrow. And doing this, it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4 motion. Just 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. Then you want to start learning how to do that, those 4 steps of the process, get consistent at it, and then over time, you'll get faster and faster at doing it, and you'll get better and better stalls. The other thing that you should also think about is how you hold your controller, because it may not seem like it's too big of a deal, But if you're like me and you hold your controller at just a very slight angle, then if you're trying to turn perfectly left or perfectly right and it's not working, that might be why. So just pay attention to how you're holding the controller, how your controller is positioned, because oftentimes than not, that might be what is holding you back and may be the reason that you always feel like you're back flipping or front flipping in your stall. That could be why you're messing up. So just pay attention to that. Now that we have discussed how to stall and some of the common mistakes people make while learning, let's talk about how to practice and get consistent at it. The first way is just standing in place and then going for a stall. It's that easy. There's nothing complicated, no fancy kind of like double reset or anything. Just keep it simple while you're trying to get consistent. Just jump, go for a stall, land, repeat. Once you get consistent at being able to stall in one place, oh my gosh, like this. Once you're consistent at doing this, the next thing you can do is, if you have access to Baka's mod, turn on unlimited flips, go up to the ceiling, and just practice stalling all the way to the other side of the field. What your goal is with this routine is making it to the other side of the field without touching the ground and without messing up, like right there. Just keep doing that. Go from one side of the field to the other. This will, oh my gosh. This will really test your consistency, test how quickly you can do a stall back to back. And it's a really good way to just drive home the fundamentals of how to stall. Hopefully after watching that, you now know how to stall or know what you might have been doing wrong. There is one thing I didn't mention, and that's your dead zone. I use a 0.10 dead zone, but if you are struggling, try turning your dead zone up to around a 0.15 or 0.20, as a higher dead zone will give you more room for error, which should make it easier to do consistently. With that, I'll see you in the next video.